set the stage for the discussion. Yeah, if no objections, let me, well, I have set the, kind of outlined some of the suggestions and possibilities that we can and could focus on, like another white paper, we published one, user community engagement use case, mission-specific platform system requirements, demonstration, perhaps, and other formats and so on. And okay. Now, how do I advance my slides? So that would be an interesting. There you go. All right. A little update. 164 in our database. That's a total 3 different working group. Many are duplicates, overlap. In other words, people join more than one working groups. And working group 1 is focusing on the creation of personal use of transformative vertical flight systems and platform. They got monthly meeting, become much more active in the last year or so. With invited speaker, white paper is in progress. Working group 2 and 3, also working on a white paper. It's in progress, seems like making good progress. And they are focusing and they're divided into subgroups, working on different sections of the white paper. And our working group, we have monthly meetings with invited speakers, and as we speak, we're talking about future focus. And okay, what should be the future efforts? Expanding membership, and the working group 1 lead and myself has been proactively inviting interested participants to engage, be part of a member, so that we have a diverse membership base that we can make something meaningful. So it's not biased toward OEM, it's not biased toward user base, it's not biased to a government entity like FAA and so on. This is everybody, supply chain, everybody, or infrastructure for that matter. Quick outline, that's our target, the mission element we established several years back. And we have some roadmap focus on technology, certain regulation, infrastructure, acceptance. Sometimes people like to use engagement. And if you look at the right-hand lower white piece, that's our white paper that published about 2 years ago as a NASA white paper. I have to say that was quite an effort. It's not something to take on lightly. It takes a lot of energy, a lot of resources. So we have a good-sized team members, not just the author, but the reviewer, and with the help of NASA legal review and so on to make sure everything's in order before you get published. So that's quite a work. I think it's quite worthwhile because I get a lot of inquiry on it. There's quite a few many people, members, join us because of the white paper. And just quickly go through, this is, for working group 4, we have some really, really interesting, meaningful speakers, almost on a monthly basis. This is 2022 outline, and that's the additional, continue to be the 2022, including Nathan Diller, the director of the Air Force AFWorks. And I have been going around being invited speakers for more than half a dozen different meetings at different related topics. Get the words out, get the public understanding, awareness of the opportunity and challenges and business opportunities. That's quite an effort on my part, financially and the time. but I think that was pretty useful. Again, I met many people interested in our engagement opportunities as a result. And so future focus and what is the value to the industry and our working group members? I mean, I think it has to be both, right? So what is it that we think we can contribute? What do we think we can either benefit from it or accomplish something through the working group? Some other possibility, we can help member engage with other members, industry players. That's one of the purpose for the working group. The open forum discussions on different topics. So quite often with invited speakers, people get very engaged in that topic, and we have very productive discussion out of it. Like the last in February, this very interesting dialogue exchange on the tailwind possibility, technology, and benefits, and so on. And we have, and of course, we try to help members stay updated on relevant topics and drive towards selected activity and targets, of course. And what can we help the industry? Maybe accelerate the industry development, maybe. Likely to think so. Specific promising use case development, especially in the working group 4. It's a little bit subset of, say, eVTOL industry or AM industry that, in my view, has not received adequate engagement, attention, or resources. So that's and of course, there's always market opportunity in air taxi, cargo delivery, tourism, public service, or whatever. And as I say, helping people and saving lives. It's what I'm trying to direct the working group 4 focuses. So one of the possibility is another white paper. I came up with 2 topics. I'm very much open for more. One is the eVTOL industry revolution, mainly focus on prototyping to high volume production. There's a lot of challenges. Rapid prototyping, people are getting better at it. Lately, based on my observation. But the volume production, the material, the process, the automated assembly, because we're trying to build vehicles at a much faster rate, a higher production rate than traditional general aviation aircraft or commercial aircraft. Each company could be building thousands a year or more. That's a long-term goal anyway, but you can't do it just by the traditional methods. And so that's a focus on this white paper. This is with the input from the NASA director at Ames, that this topic is of interest to them. Of course, cost-effective process has to be, we have to build those things to deliver at a high quantity, large quantity. The cost has to be much lower than what we have, still following the aircraft certification, qualification process and procedure. So there goes there comes the supply chain, critical, both traditional and non-traditional aviation players. Of course, the airframe, flight management system, battery, all the subsystems and everything need to fall into this high volume production scheme. That's a challenge that the industry is going to face for the next 5 to 10 years. So it will be more than just for working group 4 interest, it's for everybody's interest. The second topic is more specific for the public service operations. It's the dynamic infrastructure. Quite an engagement talk about the fixed infrastructure. vertiport developments and so on. There's actually Vertical Flight Society organized the conferences on that topic. However, so far, limited discussion has been engaged about on-demand. Can we have mobile charging station? Can the truck, the future truck, the Tesla already started delivering electric truck, semis, and European has done that the same as well. Can those charging stations be compatible and be able to use as a emergency charging stations for eVTOL if we have a fleet deployment into disaster area and so on? Once we get the, well, can we transport those platforms? Once we get there, is there a dynamic airspace management system that's compatible? That's sort of in work, NASA and FAA, but probably need a lot more attention and details engaging that. And of course, service maintenance, if the, say, disaster relief or humanitarian aid operation is to commence, you'll probably need some kind of service maintenance with spare part capabilities. So that's a more public service mission-oriented white paper. Very much open for any other suggestions that may have. And the third one may be that with the help of us, many working group members, I managed to put together 4 different SA reports on the eVTOL for global pandemic, firefighting, on-demand firefighting, natural use of eVTOL for during natural disasters, military last mile transport logistics, and the next one in work right now is about the first responders, police, and medical transport applications. So one of the things we could do, each one of them is like a mini white paper. We could get a lot of thoughts and knowledge and ideas in those and kind of combine them into a summary report, if I were to say. Maybe published through Vertical Flight Society or NASA and so on. So that's another possibility. There's quite a good information in those reports. So that's almost like a third option. Okay, now, the working group 4, I mentioned earlier at the agenda, say, what is the possible outreach and end user engagement? Is that something we want to do as our focus? One thing it's, as I mentioned, it's about 80% of the people, like the fire chief or the EMS directors and so on, they didn't know that we have this ongoing. I spent some time talking to the Orange County fire systems. Once they get engaged in understanding what's coming, they are so excited. They say, oh, we could use this and could use it, but we may have a problem with this. We may have an acceptance problem that how I'm going to train our a firefighter, every one of them, to be able to use that, or does it need to be remote controlled? So they provide, once they understand what it is, they provide a lot of meaningful feedbacks. So I have tried to engage many of those potential end users, but I think there's a lot more need to be done to truly raise awareness and to get meaningful feedback and to help guide the industry to enable those missions. So that's kind of what I'm thinking about. If we want to do the outreach and end user engagement, that's kind of my thoughts anyway. And the other things that we could do is the mission specific, either short or vertical takeoff, or vertical takeoff, short field landing, or short field takeoff, vertical landing, and of course, conventional takeoff and landing. That has come a long way. It turned out that they can do quite a bit short runway operations pretty efficiently. So there's a whole bunch of possibilities. But for mission specific for public services, now, like the picture shown that tailor for accident, emergency transport of injured person, of a car accident to the nearby hospital and so on for quick treatment, so on. The time is of essence, or it could be somebody got a stroke, you don't have much time. You got to get a first responder on site real quick and then probably get the patient to the hospital in 10, 15 minutes rather than an hour or two. So different mission require different platform, either specific tailored design or well adapted from general platform. But we can develop by interviewing the end users to develop a set of meaningful, useful parameters. The speed, range, payload, configuration, special equipments, and whatever. So that's one more thing that the compatibility with unprepared landing zones and stuff like that. Okay. So there's a lot of information can be put together and expanded that we can help the OEMs or STC companies to develop, derive, and the specialty equipment manufacturers and so on to meet the special mission user requirement. So that's a thought there. And of course, I mentioned the possibility use case mission demonstration. Again, there will be the public service mission, could be a search and rescue, could be one of the more promising one, could be how we can leverage the platform for wildfire. Not to say that we can fight the wildfire by ourselves, but certain size platform could be used to surveying and control at the early stage of a fire burst may not be put it off, but to control and delay, slow down the fire progression at early stage so that the rest of the existing fire system can be deployed in time to put it off before it gets totally out of hand. And perhaps start off with a unmanned system, demonstrate the reliability, and then become a manned system that can carry the firefighter 1, 2, 3 into the zone, or more importantly, evacuate them when necessary. So those are examples of possible mission demonstration topic that we can look at several and zoom into one or two that really we might be able to make it happen. Lay out a plan. May need to try to get some funding some way and team up with participants and execute the program, the pilot program. So that's one. So those are some of the possible things that I have thought of that we could do. Really looking for you guys' thoughts. And what I might be able to do is also put a surveying questionnaire to our members after today's meeting and see whether we get some meaningful feedback from that. May have to be a little simpler, just check the box that you think you will vote for and then collect the votes and see how that works. So now I've done my presentation, just some thoughts there, okay? So now let's hear from you guys. And then you're not gonna get out of this one easy either, okay?
I got to run soon, Johnny. I think, like, bottom line, I think a lot of things were presented. It would be helpful for, I think, a concisely done survey, as you mentioned. No more than kind of 2 minutes. It starts with you outlining what you feel the overarching purpose of the working group 4 is. It's of course focus on public service, but sort of what you want the goal to be, and then how to best achieve that. And there's all these different things that we can choose from, and rank them from least important to most important or whatever. I think that might be useful, as you suggest.
Okay, good.
I just wanted to agree with Brandon, and apologies, guys. It's quite late in the UK, so I'm just out at the moment. So I think I agree. I think probably the two of us, sat together here, or very few industry members coming together at this particular moment, won't be able to decide for the majority. So I'd say probably a bit of time digest this, and then collectively come together, and either over the email or voting, I think would be good. But I think it would be interesting to hear what other people are saying. I mean, ourselves from Flightcraft perspective, I'm definitely keen to be involved. We have been in the past, and have been patiently waiting to see what happens with other working groups, and what the developments are with this one. So definitely want to support is the bottom line, but we definitely want to hear what other people will feel about the future, and try and shape it collectively.
Okay, yeah, actually that will be one thing that may be hopefully useful to you guys as well, is that if we get some useful, meaningful feedback from the survey, I definitely share that with everybody's, and maybe that will shed some light or provide additional input for what you guys are doing. Now, I'm more interested at this point is what you do you have other thoughts and suggestions in addition to some of the things we talk about?
I mean, the only thing I would say again is, in order for me to really comment on that, I would need and this could be just my misunderstanding, just again, a sharper picture of what we want to do. So, if we want to raise awareness of these new types of aircraft, new types of machines, from an end user perspective, in like the fire, and pick a subset, fire and emergency medical services and police or whatever. If we want to directly target those folks with a specific sort of engagement plan in order to raise awareness in those end user groups, from a public services perspective, then that's one thing. If we want to raise general public awareness about all the cool things that they could do that's going to make their lives better from public services perspective, that is a completely different thing, because now you're talking to the general public. It's a less operationalized sort of message. And so once that is clearly defined, I think then the plan and the way to do that starts to crystallize.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, I think a little bit both, but maybe just my personal opinion is that we probably need to first get the potential user awareness, and general public maybe the following. Once we get close to the actual demonstration, engagement, or deployment, we have maybe a little bit more time on the general public engagement, but probably first thing first, we got to get the end user or the operator engaged first. If they're not on board, well, on the other hand, maybe you can talk to your congressman and say, hey, we need funding to deploy some as a pilot program or something. So, I don't know. Yeah, that's a good question. Maybe I'll put that in the questionnaire.
Okay. Well, anyway, thanks, Johnny. I got to run. I'm a couple minutes late for the next meeting. Great. Thank you. Thanks, Maria.
Thank you. Hey,
Thanks,
Dan,
Brandon.
any thoughts on your part?
Not too much. I'm still coming up to speed here, but it's been great tuning in, so I appreciate it.
Good deal. Well, I'll tell you what I can do is at least send you guys the link to the presentation. I'll upload it onto, and that way, sometimes it takes more than just a meeting to get the best idea. Sometimes I get my best idea in the shower, or swimming. Actually, I do get best idea swimming. So I'll send you guys the link of the presentation, so you have a little time to think about it. Very much welcome any additional input, suggestions. Meanwhile, I'll try to formulate a survey, maybe with a simplified attachment, so people can look at a presentation and answer the survey if they wanted to. They don't have to. Perhaps I'll formulate that. I'll do my best to get that formulated and see if we can get some good feedback. And
thank you so much for, just wanted to say very quickly, thank you so much for all your efforts as well. I appreciate that. You've been doing so much work. So again, I'm very keen to get involved and support this further. But it's great. So everything sounds incredible. And yeah, thank you for everything.
Yeah, you're quite welcome, and great to have you guys. That's really that's what it takes. That working group. It's a group effort. Yeah, so we have to work it as a team to be most effective. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll tell you what. I will conclude today's meeting, and we'll move forward based on what we discussed.